it do, guys? Your boy JangleX and welcome back to another reaction. So today we're gonna be checking out the complete storyline of Lemanberg. So shout out to Astro5 for sending me the link of the complete story, because he or she, don't know which one, pretty much explained to me that there are so many different stories and different oh my gosh, I can't even say the word now. Basically, it's like different, you know, from each of the guys. So I'm pretty much gonna watch the complete storyline of the Dream SMP. So let's go ahead and check it out. Oh my gosh, yo, I am struggling. What's wrong with me today? Lemanberg Revolution. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. So yeah, shout out to you once again, Astro5. Thank you so much for sending me the link to this. So let's go check out the complete story, I guess, of this first season. I don't know.
Following the events of the first war in the Dream SMP, the tension between Dream and Tommy and Tubbo did not go away. Having been the only people to stand up to Dream, Tommy and Tubbo were not exactly friends with the most powerful man on the server.
Which is pretty much Dream, right? Yeah. Dream's the one that's all green. They didn't
have the resources, the people,
that weird
or
face
the
on the
will
body
to start another battle. Until a new player joined, who would change everything. Today, I will tell a story. A story of independence. A story of a people who rose up against tyranny.
The revolution,
a story of revolution. This is part 2 of the story of the Dream.
Wait, SMP. What? Part 2? I thought it was part 1. Okay, you know what? Let's just watch it.
Really quick, this video took weeks to make, so if you could take 1 second to subscribe, it is completely free and it would make my day.
Hold on, I forgot to do that part too. My bad, man. I got you. Bam. Bam. All right, there we go. Shout out to EvanMCGaming, bro. Thank you, man, for explaining this whole story to me, man, and working hard on this video.
Thank you. Also, thanks again to Lord Cantor for letting me use his recreation of the Dream SMP for this video.
Oh, nice.
Make sure to go check out his channel if you're interested in seeing how he did it.
Wow,
again,
you created this
link
whole
is
thing
in the description.
Yo, that'd probably take months.
Let's start from the beginning. Wilbur Soot, a songwriter, comedic genius, and visionary.
Oh, he's a songwriter? I didn't know
Coming
that.
up with some of the most influential ideas in recent Minecraft history, Wilbur is a mastermind of virality. Creating his first video on March 29th, 2019, and using his experience from his time with the channel Soot House, Wilbur, in just under 2 years, has amassed over 3 million subscribers. So when it was announced that he would be joining the Dream SMP, people knew things would change. But
so that's
no one expected how much it really would. Being a genius of words and stories, Wilbur brought something to the table that no one had really considered. Tommy had a rough idea of how the Disc Saga would go, but for the next story, Wilbur would take it a step further. The introduction of Wilbur marked a turning point in the SMP, from a jumbled mess of conflict to something more. From this point on, the story of the SMP would be planned out, for the most part, before it happened.
Yeah, because I know some of it, they scripted it. Yeah.
Improvisation. And Wilbur, the main writer, began his story the day he logged on. This marked the true beginning of the storyline of the Dream.
But I know obviously the other guys also chipped in too to create the story, not just Wilbur.
Wilbur saw an opportunity in the Dream SMP. Not an opportunity for power or an opportunity for war.
I'm kind of more shocked that this didn't turn out to be like more like a movie. Like, what? If this man created a whole story for this, yo, I wanted to make this into a movie, low key.
But an opportunity
That's crazy.
for business. And on July 24th,
I want to have animated the whole thing.
He logged onto the SMP and began moving forward. He started by building a caravan. I'm
not gonna even try either.
The base of operations for his business. After this, he went to recruit his first business partner, Tommy Innit. He then explained his master plan for their business. After tricking the rest of the SMP members into giving up all of their blaze rods and brewing stands, Tommy and Wilbur would be able to produce all of the potions on the server, profiting from the newfound rarity of these potions. Agreeing without hesitation, Tommy joined Wilbur, and together, they began sweeping the server, convincing players to give up their brewing stands and blaze rods. They started with Tubbo.
Tubbo.
Who trusted Tommy and Wilbur, fell victim to the scam.
I have 4 on me now.
Brewing
Alright,
stands
bet.
and water breathing potions. That being said, not everyone was convinced. One man saw right through their plan. Sapnap. As Tubbo attempted to give up a stack of blaze rods to the new business partners, Sapnap punched Tommy out of the way, taking them for himself.
Oh, damn.
With further suspicion of their operation, Sapnap followed Tommy and Wilbur back to their van, taking it upon himself to investigate. Entering the truck, Sapnap, against the will of Wilbur and Tommy, began looking around. And it only took him a few
Okay, I just realized something. Why does it look like RV if they were cooking up something illegal? That's what I just realized.
To enter the back of the truck.
Oh
and
man,
find their brewing
looking like a whole
stands,
Breaking Bad episode.
thus exposing their plans of scamming the server
That's
into
literally
giving
what
up
happened.
all of their potion making supplies. With their backs against the wall, the duo attempted to enlist the help of Fundy. Their plan to get Fundy on their
Fundy
side
was
was
the,
to
like,
frame
I guess
Sapnap as the bad guy.
Not a vestment.
They
dude.
then proceeded to hide the evidence of their plans from Fundy, who then decided to join them. After this, Sapnap had enough. Attempting to arrest Wilbur and Tommy, Sapnap ended up killing Tommy purely for taunting him. This prompted Tubbo, who was on the side of Sapnap after being scammed by Tommy and Wilbur, to reconsider his position. But although his loyalty to Sapnap wavered, for now, he remained on the side of the law. There was nothing the three could do. Being completely outgeared, Wilbur, Tommy, and Fundy retreated to the van. And right as they thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. As it turns out, Tommy had some unfinished business with Punk, having stolen from him once again. And as the team retreated to the van, Purpled and Punk came to confront Tommy. Things were not looking good for the new business, and if the team wanted a chance to escape, they had to think of something fast. And quickly, a plan began to form. Wilbur walked out of the van, stalling Purpled and Punk just long enough for Tommy to escape through the floor of the van into a cave. Shortly after,
I was thinking the same thing too. Like they just did
to
that.
pursue him.
Oh damn.
Wilbur, confronted only by Tubbo,
maybe they
logged out
them.
of the game
That
to
would've been
buy some more
smart.
time. Lastly, Fundy stayed in the caravan, along with Tubbo and Eric, another member of the SMP who had recently joined. The guards stood, awaiting Wilbur to rejoin. Meanwhile, the pursuit of Tommy continued, and before long, they had found him. Surrounded, Tommy surrendered, being escorted to jail on half a heart. With the news of Tommy being captured, one of the guards, Tubbo, began escorting Fundy to jail as well for conspiring to help Wilbur and Tommy. All that remained in the van was Eric, the final guard standing between Wilbur and freedom.
Hey, they were making some illegal
But
stuff,
in a
so.
surprising turn of events, Eric
Oh,
betrayed the other guards, choosing to help the enemy instead. And just like that, Eric was an ally of the business. Knowing he was safe, Wilbur logged back in and conspired with Eric to free Fundy and Tommy. Their plan to free Fundy was easy as he was still being escorted by Tubbo. Eric would convince Tubbo to let him finish the escorting of Fundy to court, where he would then bring Fundy to his house, allowing him to plant Wilbur the ingredients for an invisibility potion. And the plan would have worked. But when Fundy and Eric reached Fundy's house, Purpled was there. Little did they know he had been spying on them in their voice call the whole time, and knew Eric had betrayed them. He then quickly informed Sapnap of the news and requested him to come to Fundy's base as backup. While Sapnap was leaving for Fundy's base, he left Punk in charge of watching Tommy. As the two sat in the courthouse, they began to talk. And before long, Tommy had convinced Punk to help him escape. Tommy's plan was to have Punk draw the guards back to the courthouse and escape through a hole he dug in the back of his cell.
Oh my god.
This was perfect timing for
This
Sapnap.
man is going on the
As
ground.
Sapnap had just arrived at Fundy's base, and the two guards began escorting Fundy and Eret to court. Tubbo, meanwhile, traveled back to the van to keep an eye on Wilbur. After Wilbur transformed the van from the potion brewing station it was to a hot dog van, Tubbo, with Wilbur's permission, investigated. Finding nothing out of the ordinary, Tubbo provided compensation of 10 gold for the disturbances they had caused earlier. And gold was one of the main materials he needed to make the invisibility potion. The plan was beginning to fall
So he had the
into
plan,
place.
yeah, they had it set
Although
up
it had
now.
hit some rough patches, there was still a solid chance of the prisoners escaping. And as the guards escorted Fundy and Eret back to court, Wilbur continued gathering the resources for the potions. Before long, the trial had started and they were running out of time to escape. Ponk had been figured out and was thrown in jail with Tommy.
Not caught.
And Purple went off looking for Wilbur, who had just began brewing. With Purple gone and Wilbur about to be compromised, all 4 of the prisoners dug out of their cells and ran.
Wow.
Everyone was on the run. After some fighting,
guys are
everyone decided it
crazy.
would be best to meet back at the van. And as they were coming back, Tubbo and Wilbur began to talk. After explaining his plans to Tubbo and talking of the injustice they had done to him and his accomplices, Tubbo decided to join his side. And just like that, with everyone safe in the
Alright, can we get this straight? There's so many betrayal here? Like, that's insane. Like, what? Everybody betrayed everybody. That's what literally I'm just
van
watching
and a
right
new member
now.
on their side, the businessmen.
Oh
had
my
been
gosh.
through
So
enough.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They knew that the next time they logged on, they had to fight back. And Wilbur had an idea. One that would send the server into further chaos and begin one of the most famous stories on the SMP. The team would no longer be businessmen. They would be citizens
Citizen,
of a new nation.
Revolutionaries.
A revolution.
Yep.
Before we continue, I'd like to give a quick thanks to this video's sponsor, the Archon. If you don't already know, the Archon is one of the
Alright,
most
skipping that part.
itself
I ain't promoted by that, so no.
actually born. In that week, as well as the time before Wilbur joined, a lot had changed on the server. New players and new builds. During the time of peace after the First War, 2 new players joined the server. These players were Skeppy and Eret. For the most part, Skeppy did not play a major role in the story other than burning a new disc Tommy had gathered after the First War.
Oh, so he's okay. So he
Eret,
burned
on
this
the
from the
other
first
hand,
war. Gotcha.
Did, and would play a major role in the new nation of L'Manberg,
The man
at
burned.
least for a little while. The new builds included a sewer system that led to many areas of the server, Eret's castle, which eventually housed
Wow,
the
that's
throne for
crazy how
whoever
they
held the
built
title
that.
of King of the Dream SMP, a jungle base built far away by Tubbo, and a few new towers here and there. Bit by bit, development continued on the server, until the day L'Manberg was born. This day marked the beginning of a new era in the Dream SMP, an era of independence.
Oh yeah, I've seen those animation videos that they
3
did for the Independence.
days. That's how long the war would last. In 3 days, the fate of their nation would be decided, and the wills of the men, and Tommy, who created it, would be tested beyond their limits.
There's
But
dream.
before they could begin a revolution, their great nation needed a name. And Tommy had just the idea.
I've had the idea.
Oh, I have a lot
Oh
of
my god.
Manberg, or alternatively, Mantopia.
I like Mantopia.
Yeah?
How do we make it European? L'Manberg.
L'Manberg. Yeah, that's funny. L'Manberg. Where do you live? I live in the state of L'Manberg.
After the name was decided,
Yes, that's how
fellow
European as
citizens
hell.
began to build a wall to distinguish their land from the greater Dream SMP. In their new nation, anyone would be allowed to make potions without being arrested and the tyranny of Dream and his
Oh,
fellow
supposedly making
Americans
was that
would no
legal or
longer
something?
affect them. This was the dream. And along with Wilbur, Tommy, and Tubbo, Fundy and Eric joined the new nation. Upon hearing the news of revolution brewing on the server, Dream went to confront the members of L'Manberg. This time, they didn't hide anything. The team explained that everything inside the walls was their land and would be governed and cared for by them, separately and under no rule of the greater Dream SMP.
Smart.
Included would be Tommy's Hill House, which would remain property of their nation as the L'Manberg Embassy. Dream, however, was
Smart.
not
Made an embassy,
convinced
which is smart.
and left to conspire with his friends about what to do. Before long, Dream began bribing Tommy to leave L'Manberg and rejoin the greater Dream SMP. But he would have to do better than that if he wanted someone
Nah,
to
Dream is sneaky as hell.
That being said, Wilbur still questioned Tommy's devotion to the cause.
All you've done for this nation.
Dream out here literally
You're
does
one of the
manipulate
faces of
actually.
it,
That's
frankly.
crazy.
But you need to understand that you've done very little in terms of setup. I mean, look behind you. Look at Eric working hard.
As the two continued to talk, Wilbur still questioned whether Tommy was truly devoted to the revolution or just there to be a face of the nation. And after they reached an agreement, Phase 2 of Wilbur's plan began to take shape.
Alright, so here's the revolution outfits. Clean, looking dapper. I see.
But then, Tommy noticed something out of place.
Oh damn. Oh my gosh, that's a lot
After
of trees.
alerting the rest of the squad about what was happening, Tommy saw It's Alyssa walking away from the fire. She had taken it too far. And as the team chased her down, she logged out to escape death.
Wow.
The team camped where she disconnected. Wilbur convinced Tommy to take off his armor and use his words, as he would not let their new nation of L'Manberg become the very thing he sought to destroy. Upon Alyssa rejoining, she began to run and Tommy killed her anyway.
Damn.
For Wilbur, this was the final straw. And when they all got back to L'Manberg, he temporarily dismissed Tommy, making him go back to his home in the greater Dream SMP. But then, word got out that Tubbo was being held hostage by Dream, Sapnap, and Puns. Tommy knew if there was any time to regain Wilbur's trust, it was now. By saving Tubbo, he could finally be the hero for L'Manberg he had always wanted to be. But they took him hostage as well. After Tubbo revealed that he had invisibility potions,
Wow.
Dream and Sapnap decided they could not risk them escaping with their stuff and killed both of them. With this, Wilbur knew it was time. Time to make their revolution official. To free themselves of the tyranny and the aggression of the greater Dream SMP, and to officially declare their independence.
Decoration. Independence.
Independence. And
Independence.
after some writing, Wilbur Soot.
Hello.
Independence. And
Forever the nation of the Dream SMP have chased great sins upon our great land of the HOT dog van. Oh yeah, that's like, oh yeah, that's a little dog
after
van.
some writing, Wilbur Soot, the leader of the great nation of L'Manberg, had drafted their Declaration of Independence. Forever, the nation of the Dream SMP have cast great sins upon our great land of the Hata Dog Van. They have robbed us, imprisoned us,
Hata
threatened us,
Dog Van,
killed
that's how
many
you
of our
say it.
men. This time of tyranny ends with us. This book declares that the nation which shall be henceforth known as L'Manberg is separate, emancipated, and independent from the nation of Dream SMP. The Union of the Masters of Men. Together, we are
Sure to
one.
build walls.
When in the course of
Strong
human
walls
events, it
added
becomes
too.
necessary for one to dissolve the bonds which bind us, disregarding of this truth is nothing short of tyranny. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. The right of the people exists above the right of the king, the right of the government, and the right of the economy. From the Hata Dog Van, we shall prevail. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of victory.
The hot top dog, man!
This document was
Oh,
signed by
man,
all
I love it
members
how
of
they
the
only have, like,
Lamberg
one
and
place.
represented much more than a mere book. These words were what held the nation together, a vow of brotherhood that would only end in independence or death. With the framing of the book, the nation of Lamberg showed itself as a force to be reckoned with. And to Dream, this marked the point of no return. As long as Lamberg stood, Dream knew he couldn't have control. And so, him, George, Sapnap, and Puns drafted another document. The Declaration of War.
Yep, there it is.
Unlike the first war for Tommy's discs, this time there was much more at stake. This was not just a war for independence, but a war for power. And Dream would stop at nothing to put Lamberg in the ground if it was the last thing he'd do.
TNT, there it is. Man said kaboom.
With the reality of war beginning to set in, both sides began to prepare. Off-stream, Tubbo had gathered potions to aid them in the coming battles. Meanwhile, Dream had burned down Tubbo's house. Because Dream was offline, Tommy and Tubbo used this time to attempt to convince the members of the Dream SMP Guard that they were on the wrong side. They began this by tempting Puns with a meaningless title, hoping he'd get excited and betray his friends. Next, Tommy had an idea to tempt Dream. He stated that if Dream refrained from attacking them, he would give up one of the discs.
Oh, the
Tommy's
disc,
most prized
yes.
possessions on the SMP.
The
and
disc.
result of
I know
a
about the
hard-fought
disc for
war
sure.
Would be put on the line.
That's
for
how it all started
independence.
with this, they took.
But as Tommy and Tubbo were leaving Dream's base, their entire army logged on at once. Tubbo was gunned down by Dream as Tommy fled to the sewers. All of the potions that Tubbo had gathered were lost upon his death, being burned by Dream.
Damn.
Soon, everyone joined the call and reality began to set in. The Dream SMP army was there, and Lamberg's was not. All Tommy and Tubbo could do was stall them and hope for the best. As Tommy arrived at his house to speak with Dream and his army,
That had to hurt.
he found the entire property laced with TNT. As a final effort, Tommy attempted to convince Dream he was in the wrong, but he would have none of it. The line had already been crossed, damage had been done, and doom was imminent. Dream and his men gave Tommy and the rest of Lamberg 1 day. 1 day to surrender, or everything they owned would be destroyed. And so, as Wilbur received the news, the true preparation for the final battle began.
Tommy and Wilbur and the rest of LeManChildberg. We
That's messed
We're at
up.
You know what
The
we
man
have,
child,
Raven?
bruh.
We have camaraderie. We have a righteous cause. We have an area to defend.
There is no mercy. We have burnt down Tubbo's house. We have planted TNT cannons around your land. We have cobblestone walled the outside, and we have shot one warning shot inside your walls.
No matter what happens, no matter even if he comes, even if he destroys the very hot dog van that we live out of, until the day we stop breathing, that is when Lamberg has fallen.
And we have no mercy! No mercy for you!
Do you know
No
what he's
mercy!
driven by?
I heard that he
Do you know
definitely
what
hit
he's driven
something.
by? The defense
This in his
of
own
our
damn
land.
You
table.
understand? We will come. We will burn down your houses.
He can destroy the walls.
We will kill everything inside your walls.
He can slaughter our friends, our family.
And we will take back the land that is rightfully ours.
But until the day we stop breathing, the minute we let go of that dream, that's when he has won. Men, are you going to let go of that dream?
I want to see white flags! White flags outside your base by tomorrow at dawn, or you are dead!
A white flag! White flag, are you dead? I'll sleep doomsday.
August 4th, the day of reckoning. And as Dream and his army looked to the skies of Lamberg, no flags flew. Today, there will be war. Before Wilbur logged on, Tommy and Tubbo were attacked. After losing a few useless items, they retreated to Lamberg where they waited for the official start of the war. Then their leader Wilbur joined the server.
yeah.
With Dream and his men camping the cobblestone wall they had built around part of L'Manberg, the revolutionaries retreated to the van and began to create a plan of action. Wilbur emphasized the importance of the element of surprise, as their team was completely outgeared by Dream's army. While they discussed their plan, Dream and his men spread to each wall, surrounding them. Staying true to their peaceful origins, now was not the time to armor up. Using their words, Wilbur and Tommy attempted one final time to resolve things peacefully. But once again, it didn't work. And as the two sides regrouped, they prepared for the Battle of the Ages. The war for independence, and most of all, the war for power. Wilbur decided that it would be a greater benefit for the group if he watched the battle from above. This meant the one leading them into battle would be Tommy. As they began making their way to the battlefield, they took it all in. The final calm before the storm. The last peace. Once the battle began, there would be no rest until someone had won. And having had their moment of peace, both armies moved into position.
Oh yeah.
Let
Sorry about that.
the war begin. The
The
battle
war
began on
begins.
Tommy's front lawn. Dream and his men held Tommy's power tower while the L'Manberg army stood in the grass. As the enemies stared each other down, they both waited for the first move to be made. Then, a shot was fired.
Shot
by
fire! Shot fire!
Dream, but
Jay
it
shot!
was nowhere close to the opposition. Confused, everyone thought he missed, but he didn't. This was the first trap of the war and managed to take out Fundy. Immediately, the L'Manberg army retreated inside Tommy's house as arrows began to rain down from above. Totally undergeared, Tommy crafted a bow and missed the only shot he had.
Yeah, she missed.
It had been less than a minute since the first shot was fired, and they were already backed into a corner.
Yo, the embassy
As
though.
Tommy began to
Poor
retreat,
embassy.
Wilbur pulled everyone back. They had to hold their ground. Placing half slabs on the windows, the men began returning fire. It didn't take long for them to realize that their shots weren't doing much. They needed another plan. Tommy suggested purling on top of the tower and knocking them all off.
Nice.
But Tubble reminded him that Dream had his end crystals from when they killed him earlier. Fundy, however, had a better idea. Using an invisibility potion, he would sneak up the tower, knocking all of them off and escaping unseen. This would be their next plan of action. But as everyone walked outside to draw fire away from Fundy, they realized the arrows had stopped being fired, and Dream's army was falling back to Pong's tower. In an attempt to effectively counter their enemy's new position, the L'Manberg army traveled to the nearby Punza's tower. This tower stood at nearly the same height as Pong's tower and would allow for the fire to continue. But Dream's army didn't climb the tower. This meant that when Tommy and Tubbo reached the top and began firing down, the Dream SMP army could not shoot high enough to hit them. They were completely safe. Because of this, as well as fire from the rest of the L'Manberg army down below, Dream ordered his men to retreat once
The
again.
range couldn't even make it to the top of their
This
tower.
was huge. Somehow, completely outgeared, L'Manberg was driving Dream's army out of their own land. And with this victory, Eric convinced the rest of the group to join him in L'Manberg, for he had been grinding for a secret weapon.
Ooh,
Something that would turn the
kind of
tides of the
weapon.
war and secure victory. A surprise attack. But something was
Wait,
off.
if I remember,
As the group
Is
moved
it?
closer and closer to the
I
final
think it
control
is.
room, they only
Nah, I could be
became
wrong.
more and more confused. Until they were all there, gathered around a single wooden button. Tommy could not handle the suspense and pressed the button.
wow, really
The
Tommy.
room fell silent. Then, the unthinkable happened.
There's nothing in the chest.
Eric. I'm trying to get out! Get out!
Oh.
Down with the revolution, boys. It was never meant to be.
Just like that, they all had nothing. All of their armor and weapons had been stolen or burned, and they all retreated to the van. The place where it all began, to take inventory and come up with another plan. Before long, it became even clearer that they had absolutely nothing. This meant they would have to resort back to the core beliefs of L'Manberg, winning through words. Wilbur, alone, attempted to negotiate with Dream, but it was no use, and yet another ultimatum was set. If L'Manberg did not fly white flags signifying their surrender of the war, Dream would blow up it all.
The TNT.
Believing this was a bluff, Wilbur followed Dream back to L'Manberg, where him and his men gathered at the wall for their final statement. Then, they all remembered the start of the war. The trap, the explosion. They had to stop. It was too late. All they could do was watch.
Get back. Don't let this hurt you guys. Don't let this be hurt you.
Yeah. Place all that TNT underneath for L'Manberg, man.
The land, their nation,
Was
the
destroyed.
van. It was all gone. The dream of independence, a chance at freedom, gone with the swift shot of an arrow. And with that, Wilbur, along with his right-hand man, went to negotiate the terms of surrender. And as they met with Dream, Tommy began to run his mouth, and Wilbur's attempts at calming him were no use. Tommy went on, insulting Dream and even challenging him to a 1v1 bow duel. But then something happened that was expected by absolutely no one. Dream was interested in the duel. And so, a civilized discussion began, and within minutes, a final duel was in place. The rules were simple. Both Tommy and Dream would line up on half a heart. After taking 10 paces each,
10 paces
the two
shy.
would turn around and fire bow shots at each other. The first person
I
to
feel
land
like
a
they shouldn't
shot
have used a
would win
crossbow
the duel.
instead. It would have been a little
The
faster.
stakes were the highest they'd ever been. If Tommy won, L'Manberg would be given its independence. But if Dream won, not only would L'Manberg lose its independence for good, but Tommy would have to give Dream
The
Mellowhigh,
disc.
one of the two discs he
Wow.
won back from Dream in the First War. With everything on the line, the sun fell low in the sky, and it was a showdown. The creator of the server and most powerful man there versus Tommy, the scrappy 16-year-old with a dream of freedom.
Dream of freedom!
They took their positions. Wilbur stood in the center and would be counting off their 10
I
paces.
100% would have joined the side of the
The fate
revolution.
of L'Manberg was now
I'd
in
rather
the
get
hands
that
of
freedom.
Tommy. All his friends could do was watch and pray. The count began.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
The world.
I didn't like how
stood
Tommy was just going one by one.
And then
10 paces fire.
Why Tommy look so close to Dream like that? You know Dream walked hella far from him. Damn. He lost.
Tommy had lost.
Wow.
L'Manberg had lost
And
for the
disc.
second time. And Tommy owed Dream the very disc he spent
Wow.
days fighting to get back. With this, it once again seemed that all hope was lost for L'Manberg. But in one final twist, Tommy had an idea. One that would fly in the face of everything he was known for. He requested for Dream to join a private call, and he did. This is what happened.
Dream, I know what you want from me. I'll give you both of the discs if you let us have our independence. Both of them.
Wait. That is a very, very interesting deal. That is very
Tommy.
selfless of you. Those are your discs.
For the Manberg, you know? For Wilbur, for Tubbo.
Damn.
How about this? I'll grant you technical independence for both discs. We will not go into your grounds unless we're allowed, and we will.
You respect us. Yeah, just independence.
No!
Just independence.
Oh, damn little tentacle in a bit.
Tommy, despite for his entire time on the SMP thinking only of himself and his own wants and needs, laid down his most prized possessions for the greater good of their nation. This story had a happy ending, and L'Manberg, against all odds, was free at last. In the light of their victory, Wilbur gathered the men to write the Decree of Independence. It read, "As we gaze upon the swaths of redwood trees, the great hills to our south, and the walls that have protected us for years, I, as the now president of L'Manberg, hereby state,
Yo.
Suck it, green boy!
Suck it, green boy.
life, liberty, and the pursuit of freedom." As the
Well,
sun set in
kinda
their
like
new nation,
some freedom.
Tommy and Tubbo returned to the bench outside Tommy's house. There, they played a different disc to celebrate their independence. With the L'Manberg War ending, the server once again entered a time of peace. Over the next month, many small skirmishes happened, new developments occurred, and new players joined. But the next true development in their story would arise in early September. With Wilbur being the self-elected president of L'Manberg, many of the new players, upon hearing this, titled him a dictator. What resulted from these accusations sparked a new era in the storyline. A different kind of war. This was the first annual L'Manberg election.
Oh, that's the one I want to see. That's the one. To be continued, the election. That's the one I want to see, actually.
Thank you all so much for watching.
Man.
Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes, I have,
you
good
get
sir.
notified when
Yes,
the next
I
part comes out.
have. All right, so yeah, it's probably gonna take him some time to do it. I'm not sure. Wait, I need to check his videos to see if he's already done it, because I don't know how long it has been already. How long this video came out, actually? Matter of fact, this came out in January 18th of 2021. So it's been about like a cool till February 5th, the 18th. So maybe February 18th, maybe. If not, then it could be March. He releases the other episode to explain the election one as well. That's the one I actually want to see. That's gonna be interesting. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. It definitely helped me a lot to understand the story. Definitely way much better. Thank God. Thank God. You sent me the link. Thank you so much. It definitely explains a lot of things now. And the story, even though I don't know like the beginning with the whole this situation, but I at least know a little bit of some info about the distance situation between Tommy and Dream when that all started for the first war. But knowing about the second war and how they created L'Manberg and then try to get their independence during the revolution and then starting a whole war and then Tommy missing the arrow shot. But okay. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. It's been your boy JangleX. Take care and peace.
Well, I think you're pretty great.